Hello, my name is Breganowski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're watching The Inner Gamer On.
And today we'll be talking about the new exclusive PlayStation 5 and PC game Godfall coming out, in which they are saying they are making the, quote, Tinkerer's Dream, heavily focused on enhancing the loot and making it much better for everybody, both from a stat perspective and a cosmetic perspective, and much, much more. We're here to talk all about it right now. So let's check it out.
And as always, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, because we know you want to.
So, last but not least, we have Godfall, which is a game that, if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me say that I am very excited about it. I think this is going to be my next live service game after Avengers, or during Avengers. Basically, I just don't know what to do with myself, which we'll talk about here shortly, because I'm going to have 2 live service games I'm going to be addicted to.
Yeah.
And I think this is definitely going to be one of those. So, Godfall developers have come out with a lot of information about their loot system and progression and all that stuff, and how they're making, quote, the Tinkerer's Dream. And this was written by Jonathan Dornbush on IGN. But in it, they go kind of deep into talking about some of the loot mechanics that Counterplay Games is doing on this PS5 launch game that comes out November 12th. So it's right around the corner. But one of the big things that they wanted to do was they said, quote, we had this idea. We wanted Godfall to be the Tinkerer's Dream. Anybody who loves to get intimate with their loot and put the pieces together and see the numbers and see the impact immediately, that's the kind of game we wanted to create. And they go on to say, at a high level, what's exciting about Godfall and the way that we're able to package this progression and the satisfying desire to keep chasing for more was you really have to earn the right to look like a badass. Once we had the visual hierarchy established for the weapons, we were able to think about what would I chase for this weapon for hours just off visual appeal, not thinking about how it functions or how the player is going to experience it beyond visuals, but just the visual alone. Would I chase this? Is this something that's that value? Is it worth my time? And once we were able to identify that, that's when it moved over to our design and gameplay programming. So that's kind of the thought process that they put behind every piece of loot and gear that they put together in this game, is that not only will it be a stat advantage, but it's going to have a visual advantage to make you want more and more of it and continue to go after that next piece of armor, next piece of gear from the beginning of the game all the way to the end game. And so that's their loop. But they also have the skill system, which the skill system is a little bit different in this one. They built, instead of a skill, like, I think the way I understand this is, instead of them having a skill like tree, it's like a grid. So they said, quote, we wanted there to be a maximum flexibility with the skill grid. We wanted to avoid choice paralysis because Godfall combat can be quick, it can be snappy, it's action-packed, and if every 2 levels you're having to open the UI menu, read each skill, decide the best path for you, it wasn't synonymous with what Godfall is, and it really hindered the player's experience. So they have built in a system where you're constantly able to evolve and change the way that you're playing. And then when you land on something you like, you lock it in. And then maybe once you switch Valor plates, you just try to adjust and go from there. So it's not about filling out the entire grid of the campaign, but working towards improving on your build in the post game. But it looks like once you stick with the skill, like, you kind of pick and choose skill items at will, as opposed to, I'm going to click this item and then follow this tree upward. Instead, I'm just going to pick and choose and kind of build things out and modify and enhance it as time goes on.
I don't know what other game's done that, really. Everyone usually has a skill tree.
Right.
Even Avengers has a skill tree, but it is a little more loose, I feel like, in a way.
It is loose.
It's broken up into certain sections, but you almost could do... You don't have to follow a set path.
I mean, like, the only tree is like the first primary tab of Avengers. And then after that, like, when you get to mastery and stuff like that, you basically can pick any of those ones, and you just have to pick one of the 3 options.
Right.
But you could, you have a level cap before you unlock mastery, but once you get to mastery, you can just start unlocking all the mastery and then go back to the primary at the beginning. So there is a little bit more choice, but this kind of even takes it a little step further and giving you a full just like tree list, and you just kind of figure out at the beginning, like, here's all the things that are available to you. How do I want to enhance this?
Right.
I assume.
They got some badass gear in here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really gonna blow our mind with like because it's gonna be like Destiny level gear, but in a melee combat focused game, which is
Yeah.
interesting to me because we've been playing so much like melee combat with
shooter
like
looters.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then obviously the most recent one being Ghost of Tsushima. So
Right.
having that stuff in our back pocket and coming into a game like this, it's kind of pulls some stuff from Avengers, pulls some stuff from Destiny, pulls some stuff from all these other games that we've been playing. Could be pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. Just need
yeah.
to get a PlayStation 5.
Hell yeah. And then they also go in and talk a little bit about like upgrading. So they have the ability to where kind of like you can power boost or you can like enhance your weapons with like modifiers in Destiny. They do have something where you can enchant, upgrade, and overall tweak pretty easily. So you can upgrading will level up your weapon, whereas enchanting will boost it to the next rarity level. So you're gonna have those options here to basically that came from the idea that quote, if there was a piece of loot that you really liked and you wanted to use it for an extended period of time, we wanted to make sure there was some ability to bring that weapon with you throughout the game. But there are 125 weapon options and the ability to have 2 in your loadout at any one time, so they don't expect you to like stick with 2 of them for the entirety of the game. But if you want to hold one a little bit longer, you have the option to level it up a little bit to keep it longer than others.
I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. Yeah, because you can do that in Vermintide.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty awesome. Like if you guys want to look at the full article and kind of dive deeper into it, but they just have a lot of screenshots here that showcase like the equipment menu, what the gear looks like. There's augments inside of it. You have an armory, you have your skill menu, the different types of loadouts. Every gear piece is different, has a different look and feel, different stats attached to it. It's looking pretty deep so far as the upgrading. And this is like, I mean, you're like gods, literally. So your stuff is going to look very, over the top, I'd say, which, I mean, whereas like Marvel's Avengers, there was like a kind of you had to kind of pull it in and there's only so much you could do with the skins. And in this one, because it's unknown characters you never seen before, they can do whatever they want with it and kind of really branch out and expose themselves to a lot of different variety of build outs. So
yeah.
Very, very excited. So,
yeah, me too, man. Hopefully we get our hands on it sooner or later.
Hell yeah. It's coming down around the corner.
That's right.